Hi everyone, I'm Rita Peterson with Everything Homemade, and I am here today to tell you what seeds to grow in March. This is an exciting month for me because this is when I do so much planting inside the house. I just love it and I can't wait to share it with you. Thank you for following me. Thank you for your comments. I've had some personal Facebook comments on YouTube also. People who know me have emailed me or have called me. It has been absolutely awesome to connect to all of you. So that's really exciting to get feedback. I personally try to respond to every single message that I get. Thank you. If you haven't tuned in, I live in Grand Prairie, Alberta, Canada. I've been born and raised in northern Alberta my entire life. I used to live in Manning area, which is 4 hours north. So I'm actually in a slight warmer zone, but I have grown in zone 1, 2, and 3. So I definitely understand the trials gardeners face in this climate. So I'm here to share to you or show you what seeds you grow in March. So let's start with the first week of March. So the first week I like to start my peppers. Some of the, my favorite kinds here, I got some seed packages here to share with you, would be the King of the North pepper, which is your bell pepper, which is an awesome variety to grow here. If you want like a small pepper, a littler pepper, Weaver's Mennonite stuffing pepper is awesome. My ultimate favorite is an orange bell pepper. Just the color and the flavor is just absolutely awesome. I would say that would be my second favorite pepper. My first pepper, or my first favorite pepper that I love, grow every year without fail, have tons of fruit on, is Tolly's Sweet Italian Pepper, and I get the seed for that from the Cottage Gardener in Ontario, and they have absolutely wonderful selection and they are awesome. So this pepper is actually a long pepper. I would say about 5 to 6 inches long it could get. It's red, and what I like about it, the plants are only grow from about 1.5 feet tall. So they're a short plant but produce a heavy yield, and I just love that for the north, because it doesn't take long for them to reach that size, and they have so much more of the season to produce fruit. So I absolutely love that pepper, and the taste is phenomenal. Wonderful pepper for frying, for eating, for fresh eating, for salads, anything like that. So beautiful. So peppers is what I am going to be doing in about a week and a half here from this film, because it is February 27th. So the following weekend here, we'll be starting peppers, and I will have a video on that, on exactly how I start my peppers. The next thing you want to think about middle of March, is you want to start thinking about some of the herbs that take a little bit longer to grow. You also want to start thinking about the flowers that you want to plant that already are large enough to be flowering. So let's say June, the first week of June, when the frost is, when there's no threat of frost anymore, that's when you want to start planting them out. Now, something like marigolds can handle a little bit more, a light frost. Sometimes you can get away with that, but stuff like snapdragons, pansies, marigolds, stuff like that, where you just want to do borders or plant in your flower beds, but already have them flowering by that time, you want to start them now. So you want to start the middle of March is what I like. So they're not really big yet, but they're just a nice size to deal with. So by the time May comes, you can harden them off and put them outside and in and out until you're ready to plant. So that's what you're going to start thinking about. Some of the herbs. Now let's go through this. Sometimes if I really want parsley, I will start it now because parsley can take up to 3 weeks to germinate. So I sometimes start it in middle of March, and sometimes I just cast it right out into the garden. And one trick I want to share with you about parsley is you want to find a fine some sandpaper around the house, put the seeds in there and sand the seeds. It's called stratification. Sand those seeds a bit, and it basically acts like water and the seeds hitting against rocks in nature, and it helps it to speed up its germination. So that's one trick with parsley to speed it up. Otherwise, you're looking at about a 3-week germination. So if you wanted to start earlier, you can. If you want to just freely cast it in the garden, it'll do just fine both ways. So parsley would be one you think about. Sage, garden sage, if you want the plants half decent height when you transplant them at the end of May, you're thinking about that. Hyssop is another herb that's a phenomenal herb to plant in the garden. It makes awesome tea for colds and flus. I use it all the time. Mix it in with a little bit of spearmint leaves and you got an awesome cold and flu remedy. The other thing with hyssop, it attracts bees and butterflies. It has beautiful long flowers or lots of little flowers on it. You can have pink flowers, white flowers, blue flowers, but it attracts bees and butterflies to your garden, and you want that. And it's just so beautiful. It's also perennial. So starting it now, you'll get it to bloom this year, but from the following years, it'll be a self-seeder and grow. And let me tell you, I have bees and butterflies on pollinators like crazy on it. So I think it's one of the musts in the garden. Plus, you can use it as a herb. St. John's wort would be another example of something you want to start middle of March. Again, St. John's wort has a lot of medicinal properties to it. I'd love to grow it because I love the beautiful yellow flowers. It also attracts butterflies and bees as well. This year, I can't wait to see it come back, and I will actually harvest it for medicinal purposes. The other thing is lobelia would be another thing you want to start now, middle of March, something like that. Fennel is another one because you want to start it now. It comes up fairly fast as it's part of the dill family, to get that nice bulb at the end of the season. So you want to start that middle of March as well. Okay, continuing on, middle of March. Echinacea, if you want to do echinacea. Marshmallow plant is another herb that you want to start middle of March. It's a beautiful, if you're familiar with hollyhocks, marshmallow is the original plant that they got the hollyhock from. So the hollyhock, again, would be something if you want to grow those to start in middle of March. Marshmallow plant has that big, beautiful height as well, but the flowers are smaller and they're a whitish, washed out pink. Very beautiful. Again, the bees go absolutely crazy over it. I have 3 or 4 of them. You can use the leaves for medicinal purposes. Now, hollyhock already has medicinal purposes to it, but the marshmallow plant has the more of the medicinal properties, and it is an amazing plant. Now I could talk for half an hour how many ways I've used the marshmallow plant in my family, just the leaves alone. It is an incredible plant, and if you would like to learn more, ask me a question on it, and I will explain more, or maybe I will do a video just on this incredible plant that so many people don't know about. It's amazing, let me tell you. So marshmallow plant or hollyhock. Chives and garlic chives are another ones you want to start now so you can transplant them into the garden. About middle of May. They can handle some frost, so you don't have to wait till June. I usually plant them at like May long weekend. They are also a perennial, so once you got them, they will self-seed. But if you want to start more, or you're beginning out, now is the time to start them. Amaranth, quinoa, those kind of plants, I like to start now because I like to transplant them when they're half decent size to get them ahead of the season, just in case we get a cold season. So that's middle of March. So there's quite a bit of things happening middle of March to think about for sure. So let's go to about eggplant. Sorry, eggplant and okra would be something else you will want to think of middle of March to get going. Those other two plants also. Okay, so let's go to about the third week of March. Now you might be going, okay, what's the difference? We're just the first week, the second week, the third week, the fourth. But you know what? If you are planting like I do, and I end up with over 700 plants ready to go, spreading them out a little bit is crucial. You don't want everything just to sprout up and grow and suddenly you're overwhelmed and you're spending hours on hours transplanting. So I like to spread mine apart. Now I do a lot of peppers, so I like doing my peppers first week of March because they can take a little while to germinate. So that gives them a head start. Meanwhile, I start my plants middle of March that need to get going, and on average those germinate fairly quickly. And so because my house is really tiny, I have to shuffle them around my grow light. So I make sure that I know when they're going to germinate and need the grow light, and when they already have the grow light and I can take them away and put them in front of the window without them getting leggy. And I'm going to go through that, how I play this, what I call in my house, the shuffling game, the plant shuffling game around the house. The other thing is that some plants I know germinate faster than others, so I give those, I can start them later in March, and a few weeks makes a huge difference. With peppers, if you start them, let's say you start them 3 weeks late, you're going to be 3 weeks late, and it makes a difference on their fruit production time and how they grow. So you want to be sensitive here in March about your times, okay? So third week of March is when I'm thinking tomatoes. I love tomatoes, and this is the time you're thinking about them. You're thinking about starting them. Now I'm going to list some of my absolute favorite tomatoes that I grow year after year, and when I sell them, tomato plants in the spring. Now I'm only taking pre-orders this year as I have limited space. Okay, so if you are in the Grand Prairie area and you are looking for tomato plants, you can email me or call me and I'll see what I can do if you are interested in that. But if you want to start them, let's go here. If you're looking for a Roma tomato, Martino's Roma tomato is an awesome variety to grow here. You'll notice that all these varieties are determined varieties, so they will only get to 3 to 4 feet and then stop. And that's what is critical with growing really good tomatoes here in the north, is get determined tomatoes. Otherwise, indeterminate just keep growing forever, and they put energy into both growth and tomato production. So, but you want growth, and then to stop that growth in July and just produce tomatoes and just fill out and put all of it into ripening them and to having these beautiful juicy tomatoes. So determined for sure. Okay, one neat tomato that I found is called a mystery keeper. Now this is an awesome tomato plant because I can keep it all winter long in my closet. And it is just like new when I take it out. It is an awesome keeper. So it's mystery keeper tomatoes. That one you can find at Heritage Harvest Seed. The other thing that I love is Siberian tomato. Farthest North tomato, Mountain Princess tomato is an awesome one. Pendolina Orange is an awesome one. So those are some just beautiful tomato plants that I grow year after year. I have saved my seed now for the last 5 or 6 consecutive years. It is absolutely phenomenal. These tomatoes. If you want a little bit more about those, message me and I can give you my own personal feedback, or you can just simply ask me where I get them from and I can send that to you too. So those are awesome. Those are the plants that I'm thinking about in March. Now I get a lot of questions. Oh, when should I start my squash plants? When should I start my pumpkins, my zucchini, my cucumbers, all that? Wait till April and I will do a video on those. They are coming up. I have not forgotten about them, but March is a bit early to start them. You're going to get really leggy plants, and what I mean about that, they're going to have a long stem and they're going to fall over. So hold on, just wait. Let's get through March first and get all these plants planted and ready, and then we'll be ready for April, and beginning of May are critical to some of these other plants like cucumbers. So this is what you need to plant. Now, if I have forgotten a plant or you have questions on a particular plant that you are wanting to know when to start it, send me a message. I would be really happy to answer your questions. And I'm going to get planting in about a week. So join me while we plant peppers together in about a week. Thank you for taking the time to watch. Thank you for your comments. Subscribe to my channel. That way you know when I put a new video up. And again, I love to hear from you. Thanks so much.